everyone, and welcome to, I have no clue what to call this, our first GTA modding tutorial. The series, or hopefully series of episodes, I have no clue how I'm going to split this up. I'm recording it all in one go, so I don't know if I'm going to split it up into different videos, if I'm going to do timestamps. It'll probably be a combination of the two of them, so I'll figure it out by then. So today, this first episode that we're going to do is we are going to go over how to modify the in-game files, basically. So I'm not going to go over how to do, how to install LSPDFR or scripts or anything like that. What we are going to do is we are going to use OpenIV or Open4, sorry, or OpenIV, whatever you want to call it, is the first tool you're going to need. This is a must before we start, so go ahead and get that downloaded if you don't have it already. The second one I recommend is 7-zip, because it seems to be, it pretty much can unzip any file as far as I've never ran across a file that I could not unzip with 7-zip. And a lot of these mods are not normally, or don't use normal .zip, they're usually .rar, or I've even had a couple mods that have been 7-zip, what do you want to call it? Encrypted, or no, compressed, that's the word. So, you need those two. Before I go into what we're actually going to install, first thing I recommend is if you don't know how to find where your game is, okay, so where your game folder is, the first thing you're going to want to do is, this only works for the Steam version, so if you have the Rockstar Editor, the Rockstar Launcher Edition, or Epic Games, you'll have to look up how to figure out where your game is. With Steam, you literally just come in here, right-click, find GTA, go to Browse Local Files, and it'll automatically open up an Explorer window with where your game is. Now, what I recommend everyone doing before you start messing with the in-game files, as you can see, this is my stock unmodified game. What I recommend doing is you click up here where it says common if you're using the Steam version. Wherever the folder that your Grand Theft Auto 5 folder is, go to that folder, okay? And you're going to want to copy your base game and just copy and then paste it and copy the entire game. The reason why you do this is, one, you need a backup, and two, with the Steam version, I don't know about the other two, I assume it would work the same for them if they do the same way, or do access the game folder the same way. You're going to want to rename the folder. So right now, this is my unmodified folder, okay? So I go here, I click rename, I hit space, and I'm going to just call it MP, or you can call it unmodified. You can call it whatever. So I have a 5M folder right here that has stuff from when I play 5M, so sound mods and stuff like that. Then right here I have single player. Now the single player folder is kind of already started. It's basically got my normal scripts and menu, my trainer and all that you need just to get started with the modding. So this is just a base of where I'm starting. It's not hard to do. Basically you need script hook and scripthook.net, and you're pretty much set for just about any of the trainers or scripts that aren't Rage plugin hook. I'll go over Rage plugin hook in the next episode, which should be how I install and configure my LSPDFR install. So first thing you're going to want to do is open Open4. So I have a shortcut on my desktop. You can go in the start menu, open it that way. I tell you to use Windows Search, but Windows Search half the time doesn't know what the hell it's doing. So once it does that, now first launch of Open4, it'll ask you where your GTA folder is. You just click browse, you go to where your game is, and then it'll open up the folder. So first thing, when Open4 opens for the first time on an unmodified game, it's going to say ASI Manager up here. So install plugin for GTA 5. So what you're going to want to do is click ASI Manager. And this ASI loader is what is going to allow pretty much any ASI files to be loaded. So that's the first one you're going to want to do. Keep in mind, once you install stuff and start modifying your game files, you cannot play GTA Online or you will be banned, because any modifying of the files and, adding stuff to the game is against Rockstar's terms of service for GTA Online. So that's why I recommend the two different folders. This one right here, Open5 or Open4.asi, I'm going to call it Open5, so forgive me. This is going to allow the game to load modified RPF files. It's also going to add support for the mods folder, which the mods folder is a lifesaver. It saved me a lot of times because you don't have to basically reinstall the game. So it's going to show a notification when editing outside of mods folder. I leave that on. I don't check, only edit mode for, you can check that if you're, forgetful and don't forget to go into your mods folder, but you shouldn't have too many issues. It pops up with that notification. That should remind you. And then, so I'm just going to click yes to that. And then open camera is just basically, it makes it so when you're using the Rockstar editor, you have no camera boundaries. So you can move the camera as far away from, or as close as possible as you want. So I always install that because I do a lot of stuff with Rockstar editor. Doesn't hurt, doesn't have any performance issues or anything like that. So basically just install those three and close out of it. All right, so now we're going to actually start installing stuff. So see how we have a mods folder here? This mods folder is currently empty. Okay, this mods folder is where we're going to install pretty much everything we're installing today. To make that folder not empty, one of the first things I do, because it's pretty much damn near everything you're going to modify, you're going to need to modify something in this. So what you do is you click on your main folder. Thank you, game or computer. Double click your update folder, and then right here it says update.rpf. Double click that, and right here is this big thing. So anytime you're in an RPF folder, it's going to pop up with this. And so all you do is you click copy to mods folder. And what that's going to do is it's going to automatically copy this RPF file to that mods folder. What we're going to modify is actually that RPF in the mods folder and not the actual RPF in the update dot, comma or dash update.rpf folder, whatchamacallit. Anyway, after that's done, it'll automatically open it up here. So in the mods folder, so you see it says GTAV mods update.rpf. So it automatically added the update folder. So when we start messing with DLC files, it'll have a DLC pack folder there, and then we actually have the RPF. So the first thing we're gonna install is we're gonna come over here. I'm gonna have everything that I have open in my Chrome right now linked in the description below. So first thing we're going to install is what I expect just about everyone that's modifying GTA to install would be a graphics mod. There's so many graphics mod out there. I'm going to show you the two different ways that most graphics mods are installed, which is a automatic install via an OVI or OVI folder file. That's the word. And then the other one is a manual, like install through, you have to go into the update.rpf and manually navigate the folder to install the files. Visual 5, it has an automatic update or an automatic install file. Natural Realism Graphics does not. I'm going to install Natural Realism Graphics on mine, but I am going to show you how simple the the OVI install is. So I've got everything I'm going to use right here in the folder. I've already unzipped everything. So if I was installing Visual 5, literally all you do is you open up the folder that you downloaded and unzipped. Right here where it says visual5.ovi, you literally just drag that over to this folder or to your Open4, and you click install, and then you click install the mods folder. That's it. It automatically does it. It can take some time because it's going to copy files from other folders over sometimes. So that's all there is to it for visual, like installing with OVI files. It is the simplest way, and a lot of mod developers are starting to use that more and more often. Some still don't, but there's also people that follow mods that will actually help the developer out. And that's all they do is they take the mod and make an OVI update. OVI sounds so weird because I'm from Ohio, so that's what they call DUI. So natural realism graphics is the one I prefer. Now with this, so when you first open it up, there's a README. Always read the README. Sometimes they're entertaining, and the devs have a little bit of fun with it. Just basically says use the mods folder option, and you're only going to create copies of the update.rpf and comment.rpf. And basically, all you're going to want to do is you're going to follow in your mods folder the same directory over here. So we're going to open up update over here, RPF. We're going to open RPF right here, and then common data. And right here, this is where all the main configuration files of the game are. So this is where the visual settings are, the time cycle, DLC list, Gameconfig, stuff like that is. With this mod, it includes right here, see where we have DLC packs that we can add. If you look, or not this one, update.rpf, under common data, under x64 data, it has a carcoals.ymt file. What that does is that basically when you install all these carcoals.ymt files for this graphics mod, it makes all the headlights in the game identical as if a actual player is driving it. Because I don't know if you've noticed when you get out of a car when it's nighttime out, the headlights get dimmer and they change. That makes it so all the cars have the same headlights and same make shadows and all that. That destroys frame rates for me. You might not have that issue if your computer is better than mine. My computer is fairly decent, but it's just I also don't prefer it because I've had some weirdness with it. So we're just going to install the normal stuff. Now with this graphics mod actually includes a Gameconfig. I'm not going to install the Gameconfig because I don't know if it's out of date or up to date for this version of GTA, which is the update. I'm recording this on the 10th, so it's the update before the new GTA Online summer update. So it's kind of a bad time now that I think about it to do this video. So that's the other reason why you want to back up your install, because all you have to do then is to update your game for online. You just swap the folder names around. You update that install, and then if you want to play your modded install, you just swap the folder names. Your mods folder will still work, but you can also play online with that other folder. So that kind of saves some headaches and stuff. So hopefully I'm making sense. I have no clue. So anyway, to install this, we're literally just going to click on these two folders. You can click and drag, hold control and click on Gameconfig. That unmarks it. And then literally all we're going to do is drag it over and drop it. We're done. If you come down here where it says visual settings.dat, it says compressed. Now I also just realized I forgot to show you how to go into edit mode. So see this button up here in edit mode? When you're not in edit mode, if you were to do that, it won't let you. See, little crosshair saying no. So you got to enable edit mode, and then you can drag and drop these files in. So there you go. Now, with natural realism graphics, I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the way now. What you want to do is open it up in Notepad because it's a lot simpler to do. Hit Control F, and what you're going to want to look for is car.defaultlights, or default light, no S, okay? Click Find Next, and right here it's going to find this car default light.day emissive on and car default light.night emissive on. You see these are at 1.05 right now. What these do is if you're planning on playing LSPDFR or want brighter emergency lights, you're going to want to increase this. So the numbers I normally use is 1150.50 and then 650.50 for night. That seems to be kind of the sweet spot. They're not too bright at night, and they're also not too dim during the day. To increase the lights, all you do is you take that number and you up it to make the lights brighter, or you lower it to make the lights dimmer. It's that simple. These two lines right here, that's all you got to do to make your lights brighter or dimmer. There's no need to download like Radiance 5 or any of the other mods that are out there, unless you're afraid of messing with it. You're not really going to break anything. Just keep a kind of a mental note of what those numbers originally were. So for this mod, it was 1.50 and 1.50 for both of these. And, if you don't like it, you can always put it back to that, or you can mess with it and lower up the value. So what we're going to do is we're going to close out of that. We're going to click save, and then we're going to click and drag that back into this folder. And now that change has been made here, and we're not encrypted anymore or anything like that. And same with our time cycle things. Now, this mod did not mess with some of the files, the game files, but it messed with the majority of them. So it depends. A lot of this varies on the mod. So trying to cover everything is kind of tricky. So I've got graphics mod installed now. So what I'm going to do, just so I don't have this cluttered thing, is I'm just going to delete those, because this is just a copy of what I would normally, install. So now we're going to come over here, and next thing we're going to do, we're going to install realistic weapon sounds. This is by MacGyver and a couple other names there, the monotone scone and something like that. It's usually just MacGyver is usually the one that's just credited. So all you're going to do is download that. When you download that one, you're going to get, it's not going to be zipped or anything. You're literally just going to get an OVI file or OIV file. I don't know why. OVI, that's why. Like I said, that's what we call DUI here in Ohio. So all you do is, for OVI files, like I showed you in the beginning, you literally just click, drag it over to your Open4. You can read like the description of what, the change logs. So this is going to more realistic sounds of bullet impacts, improve sound from distant shots, realistic sounds, stuff like that. So all we're going to do is click install. Now this might take a minute, because like I said, this is going to automatically grab and copy folders that it needs to modify from the game, like the base game, and drag those in and make a copy in that mod folder. I'll show you after it's installed what usually sound mods do. So it's installed now. We're just going to click close on that, and now we can go into this mods folder, and as you can see, we now have an x64 folder. When we click on that, we have audio and sound effects, and then we have the two RPFs that it modified, which was weapons player and resonant.rpf. So it modified the explosions and the weapons.awc. So the audio files for that, and then a couple others, like this is the actual like gun sounds that it modified. I think it also modifies a couple DLC packs too. So that's how you install that. After, at the end of the video, I'll show you everything working. Hopefully it works, fingers crossed. So we're done with that one, so we can go ahead and delete that folder. The next thing we're going to install is a Siren. Sirens are fairly easy to install. There's only one way to install them, so I'm hoping, sometimes there's a second way. I'm hoping this one's not using the second way. So we're going to go ahead, and right here is the Wheel and Ellipson Siren I downloaded. And see, we have a 5M file, which we don't really want to mess with, because if we would just drag and drop that resident.rpf into our mods folder, that is going to overwrite any of the changes that we just made with, or the realistic weapon sound install just changed. So we don't want to do that. So what we're going to do, see right here, we have a vehicles folder right here, and this has all the full sounds. And if we go to mods in our x64 audio, SFX, and resonant.rpf, everything in, that was loud. Everything in the vehicle.awc folder is what is in this folder over here too. So to get everything from here into that install, what you're going to want to do, and it's in Open4, you're going to go to new, and then import open format. So you click that, It's going to bring up a browse window, and you're going to want to navigate to wherever the Siren folder is. So mine's in desktop, GTA tutorial, and then the Siren pack right here. Now in this folder, all you're going to want to do is on this vehicles.oac file, you're going to click that, and you're going to click open, and it's going to pop this up, and all we're going to do is click OK, and it just automatically moved everything that was in this vehicles folder into this vehicles.awc file. So that Siren is now installed and should be working in our game once we get it launched. Now we're going to get into the fun stuff, which is actually, oh wait, no, we got one more file we need to modify before we can start adding in cars and stuff like that. So one thing that you're going to want to need if you plan on using, if you plan on using any add-in cars, you're going to need a modified Gameconfig. So this is one by Fry502, I think is how you would pronounce that. So you click download on this, and then you're going to get a folder right here that's Gameconfig. And right here we have literally just two folders. So we have our files, installation. Literally it tells you where to install it, which is going to go into mods, update.rpf common data. So we're already in that right now. If we look through here under our .xml files, we have Gameconfig, and as you can see, it's encrypted still, so it's not modified. So all we're going to do is we're going to take our Gameconfig, drag it over, and now it is installed. So now with this isn't the only thing that I personally do when I'm doing add-ons. The other two folder or files you're going to want to install is this heap adjuster, which is an ASI file that basically changes the amount of RAM that GTA can have access to. And then you have pack file limit adjuster, which basically stops it. If you get this ERR_FIL_pack1 error code or crash, this will solve that. So all you do is you click download on those, you take the folder files that are in that, you drag and drop them into your main GTA 5 directory, and that's pretty much all you have to do with that. You don't need to modify them or anything like that. They should just work. So now with modifying this Gameconfig, I just realized with one of the next mods we're going to install, it's actually going to overwrite that Gameconfig. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how you can check to see which files an automatic installer is going to modify. So if we come over here, our next thing we're going to do is a modding DLC pack. This is the one by Albo. I forget the numbers. It's by Albo. He does a lot of LSPDFR mods. So right here, when you download it, you're going to have, I'm going to get rid of that real quick. All you're going to have is this. Now with this modding DLC pack.ovi, if you were to just drag and drop this in here, it would install stuff and you wouldn't really know what it's modifying. If you're kind of curious on what this is going to modify, all you do is if you have 7-zip installed, you right click, you go to 7-zip and extract to modding DLC pack. The nice thing about 7-zip is it actually can unzip these just like if it was a zip folder. So now we have this new folder here. We can double click on it to go into it, go under content. And as you can see, this is the stuff that this OIV file is going to install. So we have update. This is going to install. So this is the actual add-on DLC that it's going to install. And under common, as you can see, it's going to add a new Gameconfig. This Gameconfig is from 2/13/2018. That is not going to work on, the latest version of GTA or GTA 5. So what you can do is now we know when we drag and drop this to install it, it's going to modify that Gameconfig that we just installed. So see, this Gameconfig is for version 1.0.1290.1, and I know we're on like 1.9, version 1. It's like 0.18 or 1.9 or something like that. I'll put it up on the screen to make sure, but you just click. So we're going to go ahead and install this just like every other OIV file that we've installed so far. Click mods. We want it to go to the mods folder. Shouldn't take very long to install this because it's literally just an empty DLC pack and that Gameconfig. So it's installed. If we go here, now it's put us back on our main directory. What we need to do is go back to that Gameconfig. Now, if you haven't done that yet, install that modding pack first, and then install the Gameconfig. So now we need to go back to where our Gameconfig goes. So mods, update the RPF, common, data, and then here we need to replace this Gameconfig with the one that we want to use. So we just click and drag it, and that's it. And that Gameconfig is installed, and our game should now launch. If your game isn't launching after using an OVI file, double check it, unzip it. More than likely, it's modified the Gameconfig. And if the Gameconfig's out of date and not for the, current version of your game that you're using, your game is not going to launch. So that right there number one issue that I've ever stumbled across when using those automatic installers. So we have that modding DLC installed, and we have that Gameconfig done. So we can go ahead and delete that. Now, what that modding DLC added is if we go to GTA 5 and go into our into our mods folder, and we go to update, we have update, or under update we have x64 and a DLC packs. And right here it added a new DLC basically that is called modding. So we double click this, and under DLC.rpf we have this new DLC pack. If you go in here, it's pretty much empty. There's like nothing in it. See? It's like empty. What this does is this eliminates the having to go in and modify certain pack day files. So under normal GTA 5 modding, what it was before that was a thing, you'd have to go into update the update x64 DLC packs, and you would have to modify the latest patch day, or sometimes you would have to go back and find another patch day that, overwrit a file and stuff like that. So like patch day 13, I think, is the most common when installing police cars, because that was the last patch that modified one of the police cars. Or maybe that's for the guns. That's for the weapons. But basically, if you don't want to use the modding DLC pack, you can come in here and you can modify the latest patch day. It's just I find the modding packs a whole hell of a lot easier to deal with. So with that modding DLC, this is where we're going to install replace cars, replace Peds, replace weapons, stuff like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to install a replace car. We're going to install a replace player model or PED. And we're also going to install replacements for weapons. All right, so I was going to show you how to install replacement Peds. Fortunately, the Ped I want to use, I'm using an animal. It's not supported by this modding DLC pack, so I'm not going to bore you with having to go in and do that. So we're going to skip that. And we are actually going to go right into installing replacement weapons. So to install replacement weapons, you are going to want to go to that modding DLC pack that we added, our DLC.rpf, and then under that, x64, and then models, CD images, and then right here we have weapons.rpf. Now this directory is empty right now. This is where we're going to be adding the model files that we are wanting to replace. So right here we have a Glock, this is just to replace the standard pistol. This Glock is the Max Payne 3 Glock, I think. I'll have all these be in the description too. This is a Glock 17. This is an M4A1. This is an animated. All of these are animated as far as I know. And then we also have a Taser X26. So we're going to go ahead and start with the standard Glock. So right here, when you download it, we have patch day 3. We're not going to use patch day 3 because all we need to do is take all these YDR and YTD files, and we just need to drag them and drop them into this folder right here. And that's it. This is now installed. So when we would launch our game, the standard pistol will it will look like this. So this is the Max Payne 3 Glock. It's not exactly high quality. That's why I put it on the normal police or normal pistol slot. I prefer using the combat pistol, which is where the Glock 17 goes. So weapons.rpf. Right here we have all these YDR and YTD files, which are for combat pistol. We're going to drag and drop those in. And now if we look at the combat pistol, YTR, see how much nicer that is? That's why I love this Glock model. This is a really nice Glock model. So that's how you install that. For the M4A1, it's the same thing. Open it up. Now with this, we have a bunch of different basically options. So with this one, the first thing it wants us to do is it wants us to copy this carbine rifle.ytd. So we're going to copy that in. And now we have magazines here. So we want these magazine files. And then we have a suppressor if we want to add we need that suppressor file. We have the EOT tech. We can have a carry handle or we can have an ACOG. So these right here, these top three are going to be the actual model of the gun. So I usually, the last time I installed it, I did the carry handle. I'll actually go ahead and show you what each one looks like. So the carry handle, if we look here on the YTD, it's got the carry handle on the top. Ooh, where is it? There it is. And standard iron sights. So with the ACOG, if we install that one, drag that in, we have the ACOG scope on the top of it. The EOTech, or EOT tech, I guess would be, I'm probably butchering most of these names. This is kind of reminds me of the Rainbow Six red dot sight. So I don't care for that one. I usually do the carry handle, but I think I'm actually going to try the ACOG for this install. So that seems pretty usable. We'll have to see how it looks in game. So that's that one. And so we have the M4 installed. And now we need the Taser X26. So this one is the same way. So we have base, color variants, camera, and XDMP, which I believe is an extra cartridge on the bottom of the thing. We can click the README and it should tell us. Okay, this one's not going to tell us. Sometimes they tell us in like what each one does in the README. So we need the base. So we're just going to go ahead and drag and drop these in. So if we look here under stun gun, this is the X26 Taser. So this is the black and yellow option with the green cartridge. So if we come over here and we can add camera. So if we want the camera on it, all we have to do is just drag and drop this. And now there should be a camera on the bottom of the Taser right there. So I just realized, oh no, I do have my mouse on. Okay, I couldn't remember if I disabled that in OBS or not. So this one has the camera. I'm going to go with this one. The other option is you have color variants right here. So we have base, which we can have black or yellow. Or cartridges, we can have green, silver, or yellow. I like green because green is for 25 foot. A bit more realistic for how GTA's tasers work. And for the base, I prefer the black. Now, for this, to install these, so let's say you wanted the yellow one. What you're going to want to do is up here on these YTD files, these are the texture directories. So we have stun gun and we have stun gun high. So we're going to check stun gun first, and right there is the WX26. So as you can see, it's got the black one. So what we would want to do is we would want to go to replace, and then we would go to wherever we have that installed. So no, not game mods, GTA tutorial, X26, color variants, base. So let's say, you know what, I'm going to do the yellow one, because why not? So we have yellow and we have yellow low. Now, if I remember correctly, the only difference between these two is one is a 4K texture, I bet. So this is 512 by 512, and I bet this is 4 times that. Yep, this is 1024 by 1024. So you can install the lower quality one. You probably won't notice much of a difference, and that can help with FPS issues. So if you're getting like an FPS drop when you have this taser out, you can try swapping out that texture to the low. So I'm going to install the yellow. So that is, ooh, wait. Oh, no, I did that wrong. Okay. So we're not in the high definition texture directory. So see how this is way bigger than the rest of these? That's because the resolution's wrong. See, these are all 512 by 512. So we're actually going to want to click replace again, go into yellow.low or underscore low, and now this is 512 by 512 like it's supposed to be. So to save this, we just click save. It can take it a second, just depends. And now we need to modify the stun gun plus high YTD. See, these are those same textures that were in that other file, but they're 1024. See, these are higher quality images. So we want to replace this WX26 file with the yellow high quality. Let's see how this one says underscore low. We want this one right here. And now we just click save like we did before. And now, since we have both of these installed, when we come down here and view our stun gun again, it should have that yellow texture. See, we have a yellow stun gun now. Look at that. So that's how you install weapon files. It's really simple when you have that that modding DLC. So we're all finished with that. And now the fun part, which is modifying cars. So we're going to start with add-on cars, and we'll go into replace cars here in a minute. So the add-on pack that we're going to install is one that someone commented on a video that I used of their mods and asked how to install it. This is Blue Ghost Unmarked pack. If you play LSPDFR, you really need to have this pack in your game. So the way this works is you're going to want to download. If you come down here and read, you need to download right here. You must download both archives. So when you download this mod, see how we have data files and then we have the actual zip file. So the data files are our ELS files, and this right here is the actual DLC pack. See how file limits this is almost a gig just for this DLC alone. This is a lot of cars in this pack. There's 35 cars in this pack, and they are extremely high quality, really nice models. Blue Ghost is an awesome developer when it comes to vehicle mods. I've used a bunch of their stuff in the past and still haven't used all of these cars in here for LSPDFR yet. So to install his pack, as of right now, recording this, is not an automatic install. So what we are going to need to do is we are going to need to modify the DLC list file in the update.rpf directory. So what you're going to do first is to actually install the cars is you're going to click on the folder, you're going to have add-on, and that other folder you're going to download is the VCF data files. I combined them all into one folder just so it's more organized when I organize all my mods and all that in my GTAV mods folder. Because I don't delete mods, because sometimes developers remove mods and then you can never find them again. So what we're going to do since these are ELS cars, we have VCF files. So when you install ELS, you have ELS folder, you'll have advancedhook.asi, and you will have els.asi, and you also have an ELS ini folder or file. So those four things will be when you download ELS, you want to drag and drop those into your GTAV directory. Now in this ELS folder under pack default, as you can see, I have a bunch of files in here. You probably will have none if you have not modified your ELS, anything in that ELS folder. So all you do is you take all of these, you drag them over here, drop them, and that's it. So those are all installed now. So it'll automatically add them, and now ELS now has these files. These file names right here, so in the VCF, this camp and camp 2, those are all these file names correspond with the actual vehicle names in the add-on. To install the add-on, this is where hopefully I'm going to over-explain stuff to try to make it as simple as possible. simple for people to understand. So under add-on, we have this Blue Ghost pack folder. Inside that, we have a DLC.rpf. What we're going to want to do is for this Blue Ghost pack folder, where this goes is under mods, update, x64, DLC packs, and where our modding DLC folder is, and whatever else folder any of our other mods that we've installed and modified are right here. We're going to click, we're going to drag this Blue Ghost folder in, and keep in mind this is over a gig, if I remember right. Yeah, this is 1.27 gigs. So it will take it a minute to copy everything over, and then what we can do is once that's copied over, we can go ahead and open it, go to tlc.rpf, and under x64 vehicles.rpf, here are all 35 cars. So we can finally see what this camp slot is. It is, if I remember right, a 2017 2017 Chevy Camaro SS. Camp 2 is a Z20A or IROC Z 90, or no, that'd be an 80, somewhere in the 80s. I forget. It's all listed right here under which vehicles it is. So that is an 90 IROC Z. Okay. And then you can go through, you can look at all these if you want to see the vehicle files. That's not where it gets fun. You want to see them in the actual game. Right now with this DLC folder where it is, these cars will not show up in game. You have to modify the DLC list file and basically tell the game that this DLC pack, it needs to load. So what we need to do is we're going to start out with our mods folder again. Pretty much whenever we were starting out, just come up here, click mods, and then we're going to follow from here. So update.rpf, common, data, and under this folder right here, we come down here and we have DLC list.xml. So if we right click this and click edit, these are all the DLC packs that this game currently loads. I just noticed that this right here is kind of off-centered. Easiest way to fix that. So this is our modding folder, or modding DLC pack. I have OCD, so I'm going to go ahead and fix this. So all I'm going to do is we're going to copy this Heist 3 folder name right here. We're just going to copy. We don't want to go all the way over because this Open4 automatically adds the little gap over here. So we're just going to hit enter. And now we paste it, and now we have that one, and now we have this one. So we have 3 of these Heist 3. So right here between these 2 slashes, so this slash and this slash, is what we want to name or put what folder name we gave that DLC pack in the DLC packs folder in the update x64 DLC packs. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove that, and we can come over here, and the easiest way to do this is if you right click this and go to rename and just copy this. With that removed over here, you just paste it, and now you're not going to have any typos or anything like that. The other one was called modding, and I know it's all uppercase because it's already technically installed right here. I just didn't like the way it was spaced out. It would still work that way. It's just it bothers my OCD when I come in here to edit and add more DLC cars. So right now we've told the game that it needs to launch this DLC pack and the other DLC pack. Now keep in mind this modding DLC pack, you want to have it on the bottom of the DLC list every time because it gives it the highest priority for replace files. So if if your game updates and that's all the way up here, like patch day 20 or above that, if any of those files that we just modified are replaced in this folder DLC pack, it's not going to work because this folder would have lower priority. So you want all of these modded ones at the bottom. You don't want to be adding them at the very top because then shit ain't going to work. It's the easiest way to put it. So that's all we need to do for these add-on packs. We just click save and that's it. Now I need to grab a replace car real quick because I forgot to grab one and show you how to do a replace car. All right, so the replace car I chose from my many downloaded. Most of them are add-ons. It kind of took me a minute to find and replace one. We are going to be using a Aston Martin DB5, specifically the one that, James Bond used in, the James Bond car is the easiest way to put it. So as you can see in here, we have JB700 is the vehicle name. So we have 3 of those files. Where those files go is really simple. Since we're replacing and we have that replace or modding DLC pack, all we need to do is navigate to that folder. So update x64 DLC packs, modding, and then dlc.rpf. And then in here, what we're going to do is we're going to go to x64, levels, GTA5, vehicles, and then vehicles.rpf. As you can see, it's empty. Anything we throw in here is going to automatically pretty much work. So we've added these cars. If we click on the fragment option file to view it, that is our Aston Martin DB5 that will now replace the JB700 in game. So that's how that works. Usually when replace cars, you don't have to worry too much about handling because they're optimized for that specific handling slot. If you add have a different handling line though, or a handling pack, sometimes there can be some weirdness, and that's when you'd have to go into the vehicles.meta and find the JB700 in that file and change the handling ID to something different. This one I know for a fact works just fine with the handling pack that I've used, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, and then the final thing we're going to install is actually new. This is the first time I'm going to install it. It's vanilla vehicle and missives fix. What this is going to do is, since we're using a graphics mod, sometimes the bus, the space docker, the taxi cabs, the Surge, for instance, has like a light up grill. When you start modifying the graphics with graphics mods, sometimes those can become overly bright and just cause issues. So like right here under here, see how like if we didn't modify this file, that's what that train would look like when we get in game. Actually, it'd be a little bit brighter with the settings I use, especially during the day. At night, or with this mod installed, you're not going to have any of those issues. That's the Chevelle Surge. That's what it'll look like with after installing this pack. The bus, same thing. It's not going to be overly bright. That's the Docker. That's the Docker afterwards. So this is going to basically make it a lot more realistic when we are using our graphics mod, especially the taxi. The taxi is the worst one. See, it'll just be way, way better. So this is actually a add-on pack as well as an automatic installer. So all we need to do is when you download it, it's not going to be in a folder or anything like that, or like a zip file. It literally just downloads the OIV file. All you do is you click and drag it like we did the other ones, and you would click install. Now, what I'm going to check real quick, I'm going to make sure that this is not going to modify the Gameconfig. So we're going to go ahead and right-click 7-zip, extract, click on our folder right here under content, and it is not. See, all it's going to do is add the DLC, and it will automatically add this DLC pack to our DLC list. So we don't have to change anything in our DLC list. This will automatically just work. So we're going to go ahead and click install, mods folder, and once it's installed, this is the last thing that I wanted to install. So we're going to find out if this game is going to actually work or not. Alright, so as you can see, our game's all launched up and loaded. Our graphics mod is definitely working because it's not what the stock game looks like. Definitely can tell by my frame rates being about 10 or 20 FPS lower than normally are. Running at about 86 right now at the airport. We're going to go ahead and first thing we're going to check is we're going to give ourselves all weapons. And we're going to pull out the pistol and go into first person here. And as you can see, that is the Glock that we installed on the pistol slot. If we go to our combat pistol, that is the Glock that we installed on our combat pistol slot. Come over here to carbine rifle. That is the carbine rifle that we installed on that slot with the one scope that we chose. Or I chose, I should say. And then finally, the last thing we installed was the stun gun, which is the X26 taser in yellow. So that is working as it's supposed to be. Now with this, we're going to go ahead and check and see if our gun sounds we installed is working. Ooh, that's different. That's actually, I like that quite a bit. That I wasn't sure I was gonna like this because this is a different or new update to the one I used to use. Oh yeah, I like this. That sound pack is nice. We can go ahead and shoot a grenade here so we can hear the different explosion sound. See, it's got a little bit different explosion sound. Shotgun is gonna have a. Whoa, that's got some bass to it. Micro SMG. Yeah, I like the sound pack. Definitely different than stock. Alright, so we know our gun sounds are working and the guns that we installed are working. Next, we're going to check our replace car that we installed. So we're going to go into our simple trainer, go to vehicles, and that is going to be under Sports Classic. And we installed the GB700 right there. That is definitely a DB5, as you can see on the back. So that worked. We already knew that this install or that modding folder was working because, you know, the gun models worked. Oh, this thing sounds awesome. Alright, I'm getting distracted. Okay. Whoop, there we go. For some reason, the keep wheels turned install or mod I have, for some reason, first time you get out of the car, causes the game to hang for a minute. Then it's fine every time after that. So now, we're going to check out our add-on cars that we added. So in the vehicle spawner menu in Simple Trainer, if we come on down here to add-on added vehicles menu, as you can see right there is all the cars that Blue Ghost Unmarked Pad added. Now I know for a fact that the video that someone commented on, or one of the videos that someone commented on wanted to know how to install it, was the Track Hawk Bad Cop episode. So we're going to go ahead and spawn Track P. And right there is our Trackhawk, our 2018 or 2019 Jeep Grand Cherokee Trackhawk. So 707 horsepower. Now, with this being an add-on pack, it has its own handling files, so it's not as fast as I remember it being, but I think I modified some, I did torque modifier, or multiplier, I should say. I combined the word modifier and multiplier for some reason, and torque modifier and engine horsepower modifier and the trainer. To see if our ELS is working, we're going to go ahead and activate our ELS lights. And as you can see with our graphics mod, those lights are more than bright enough during the day, in my opinion. We're going to go ahead and advance time and make it dark. Those are definitely more than bright enough at night as well. That actually looks insanely good. Yeah, so that worked like it was supposed to. We're going to go ahead and next thing we're going to check is our Siren, see if our Siren is working that we installed. Yes, it is. That's the wheel and ellipsin, or however the fuck you pronounce it. Yeah. Yeah, so we have all 4 siren tones like we're supposed to. ELS looks nice. The lights are more than bright enough. We're going to go ahead and turn off our siren there. Kill our lights. And we have our night bright or knockout thing. As you can see, our running lights are not insanely bright. Sometimes with graphics mods, they can get that way. You can install like a Corona modifier that'll hopefully take care of that. Or you can lower that emissive, or that default light, car.default light file, or value, I should say, and lower that down if you're finding like the LED running lights are a bit too bright for your taste. That's the nice thing. You can literally just do whatever you want. So like during the day, See, they're barely noticeable, which is what I wanted. So we are perfect. So this install is definitely ready for... Oh, that was weird. Whoa. What is it? Oh, game is broken. Either that or mouse is broken. Mouse did have an entire 32-ounce root beer poured on it a couple months ago, so that might not be helping. Well, that is everything I'm going to cover in this video. So we have covered how to install sound file or mods, how to install graphics mods, how to install vehicles, both add-on and replace, how to install guns, replace guns, and how to modify the DLC list when you do add those add-ons. I know this was a lot. I've been going for over an hour recording. I'm going to try to chop it down as much as possible. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. I will try my best to help out. It's going to be really hard because I don't know what mods you already have installed and stuff like that. But if you're starting from scratch and doing just what I showed you in this, you know, besides like a trainer and script hook and a trainer should not crash your game. So if you did everything I did in this video, your game should launch as long as you did it correctly. If it doesn't, then either you missed a step or forgot to do something. That happens to me all the time. You wouldn't know how many times I've done added add-on cars and forgot to modify the DLC list. And then I launch my game and I'm like, where is that car? I just installed it. And then I'm like, oh shit, never mind. So anyway, that's enough rambling for me. I've literally recorded an hour and 15-minute long video of me rambling, and it was on purpose. So with that, like the video if you liked it, hit the dislike if you didn't. Remember to subscribe if you haven't done so already. I do LSPDFR, GTA Online, 5PD, ATS, all kinds of stuff. So if you're interested in anything like that, go ahead and subscribe. I'd be very thankful if you did. Also remember to hit the bell icon if you do subscribe. That way you get notified when I upload a video, because sometimes YouTube subscription boxes are a little broken. And with that, I'll see you in the next one.